Welcome to StressOut podcast, where we explore strategies for managing work-related stress and burnout. Today, we have Kiril Radev, founder of Art of Breathing. Art of Breathing is dedicated to help the embracement of breathing practices and knowledge across Bulgaria. Kiril is an internationally certified breathing coach with holistic approach and thousands of hours practice. In his work, he also includes coaching and sound therapy and also is including psychotherapy modalities. We will be discussing the how of breathing practices and how they can help us in our stress management journey. Thank you, Mr. Rada, for joining us this morning. How are you feeling?
Thank you for the invitation. I'm very well. Just had my cold bath, so I'm fully prepared to have this wonderful conversation with you.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
So maybe we can start with you telling us more about your background and how you became a breathing coach.
So my background is actually I come from the corporate world. I was in business development. I'm economist from education at the University of Mannheim in Germany. And I was in the corporate world for about 10 years before I went to breathwork, before I decided to make this huge turn in my profession. But more importantly, I think in my childhood, in my early years, I was very much into sports. So I could learn a lot about the body by personal experience. And this made me very, very open to different modalities which are connected to the body and could be used in different ways to improve our health, our physical, our mental health, and general well-being.
Fantastic.
So I decided actually to become a breathwork coach after I solved an issue of mine, which was related to allergy, to high levels of allergy connected to high levels of stress coming from the corporate world. Several years of working in this kind of environment has increased my stress levels so much so that I had some issues with my health. And when I found out about the power of breath work, I could turn around these issues and connect to my health in maybe the best possible way until this moment. So when I saw this power of the breath, I decided it's a lucky coincidence, but it's also a message to spread out here in Bulgaria. So I decided to make this U-turn in my profession and make this my main activity.
Wow, that's quite interesting story. Basically, coming from the corporate world, you're like so familiar with the heightened levels of stress and how it influences our whole body. But could you like clarify to our listeners why breath work is so essential, is so powerful for managing stress, especially in the workplace, especially in those high demand jobs in corporate world?
Actually, breathing practices and breath work are fundamental for our condition anywhere, at any situation, for any activity, including in corporate environment. Actually, it's not only given for humans; it's also for the animal world. This is how actually animals um, rearrange themselves. They lower their stress in the wild. And if we observe animals in National Geographic or any other television, we will see how they use their breath to lower the stress after some accident has happened. So if animals can do this for life-threatening situations. I think people can do this also in the corporate world. And why this activity is very um, useful in the workplace is because you don't need anything additionally except yourself and your attention and your activity to alter your state. Because you can use a chair, you can there are some breathing activities you can do even standing in the elevator or between meetings or walking down the corridors of your building or sitting on the bench outside of the building. So it doesn't matter practically where you are. They are some kind of breathwork activities you can use to change your state. And of course, with different kind of depth of the breathwork, you can do even more and even more and even more and go deeper and deeper and deeper. Of course, not every kind of breathwork is appropriate in every situations, but there are a lot of different breathwork styles which are appropriate in the everyday situations in the work life.
No, that's very interesting. I really liked your example of the animal world, and that's so true. I mean, it's so obvious, but we're tend to miss out those obvious things in our busy everyday life. Can we go now a little bit into the physiology of breathing and stress? We know that our sympathetic nervous system becomes hyperactive during stressful experiences, as you also gave the example from the animal world or corporate one. But how does this affect our breathing pattern? Can we use it? How exactly we can use it to calm our nervous system down? Let me put it that way.
Yeah, by speaking of the animal world and the corporate world, they're almost the same, aren't they? So, yeah. So actually, we have a lot of intuition related to the breath. We have a lot of expressions in Bulgarian, in English, and I'm thinking about any other language. There are some expressions related to the breath. This means that people are aware of the power of the breath when they use these kind of expressions in their language, and this means we have a innate intuition in ourselves about how to breathe. This is even this saying, continue breathing or breathe when you are doing this or that. This means bringing more awareness to the breath at first place. And by bringing more awareness to the breath, your intuitive approach will give you a better better patterns of breathing, better ways of breathing. Of course, this is not only an awareness and not only intuition related to this. There's also a lot of knowledge which can up your game related to breathwork and to your general well-being. So what you can do is actually amplify the ways you breathing, which help you relax. And why there are professions like mine is because not about only about the general knowledge, but also about the specifics of every different human individual, because people are alike, but they are also quite different. So maybe different approaches work for different people. So the one thing is to observe yourself and see what works for you and just amplify it. And one example could be, for example, to slow down your breathing, beginning by slowing down your exhale and then maybe slowing down also your inhale, inviting your breath to your lower parts of the body, meaning the abdomen, for example, and breathing slowly through the nose. And this will give you a more relaxed experience. And of course, one thing which also helps a lot is using a specific tempo, using rhythm in your breath. And there are various different kind of breathing patterns you can use related to tempo and to rhythm. But even just selecting one which works for you, like 5, seconds inhale, 5 seconds exhale, or 6 seconds inhale, 6 seconds exhale, for example. Standing with this kind of breathing can improve your levels of stress a lot. But even if this sounds like a lot for you at the start, just try out to slow down your exhale a little bit by a little bit, and maybe in just 1 or 2 minutes you will see a change. Stay with it, and remember, breath work and breathing practices are abilities, are skills like any other, meaning that the more you exercise them, the more you use them in your daily life, the better you get at them, and the more benefits you get from them. So if you try this approach 1 or 2 times and see some benefits, be sure that after time the benefits will be even more.
Thank you for detailed explanation. Could we go a little bit deeper? How does the consistent breathwork actually help you improve overall emotional resilience and mental health? After all, that's what matters.
Like I mentioned, there are different kinds of breath work, and different kinds of breath work are meant for different goals, for different needs of every person. But of course, we can use breath work just to alter our state, the state of our autonomic nervous system, like you mentioned, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic activity. But this is for the current moment, for the time being. Of course, there's some stress or some emotions which we have gathered during the last days or weeks or even longer periods of time, and it sometimes stress sticks in the body. It stays with us in different ways, and for this kind of needs, we need a deeper approach. We need deeper breath work. We need more time. We need some kind of setting, and sometimes, most of the times, we need also a breathing therapist or breathing coach or breathing instructor, however we might call this kind of profession. So these kind of people lead us during this kind of experience, because if there are some stuck emotions and they come out, it's good to have someone around us who knows what he or she is doing, so they may support us during this process, so it goes very smoothly. And this is one moment which I might say, deep breathing processes, if they're not done correctly, meaning breathing practices longer than 30-40 minutes, something like this, in this amount of time or more, if they're not done right and they're not supported in a professional way with a therapist, they might even harm you. There's this risk. So be aware and select the professional who is very good educated, with whom you connect also on a personal level very good. So you know that this kind of relationships will do you only good and not harm you, because this happens every now and then with people who are not aware of this.
Thank you for this reminder. Actually, it's quite important to select the coaches, instructors, therapists we are working with, like especially when it comes to health, including mental health. We need to select them very carefully, and beyond the personal level, we also need to, like beyond connecting on personal level, we also need to make sure that we have selected well-educated practitioner to guide us in the process. Thank you for this reminder.
They must be very well aware of the health of the physiological process in the body, and also about the psychological processes in the mind, and be trauma informed, be aware how they approach some kind of trauma which is reoccurring for this person. So there is knowledge related to this, because a breathwork might sound very simple, but it can go very deep depending on the kind of approach, because you can do very simple things, but you can do very profound things. And when you're doing the profound things, it goes very, very deep and activates your whole being, actually. So there is a lot of knowledge related to this.
It really sounds like so powerful too that one must be cautious and at least to find a professional that is suited to guide him. But yeah, indeed. And speaking about implementation and especially correct implementation of breathwork, could you share some common misconceptions or minor errors that you're observing about the breathwork in general and breathing practices?
There is much mistakes as people they are actually in the world, because everyone, including me, is doing some kind of small mistakes. Of course, the most important is not to do big ones. And yeah, this is the part where maybe when you're doing some kind of breathing pattern, or you found this in a book or in internet or some kind of teacher even, or whatever, and if you observe that this kind of approach is not working for you for some reason, then you must investigate why is this not working for you. This could be for several reasons. This means maybe your physiology is not in a good relationship with this breathing pattern, because like I mentioned, every one of us is different in some kind of way. And maybe you need another breathing pattern or breathing technique, at least for this time being. So observe if this kind of breathing pattern is good for you. Another reason is maybe you're not applying it in the correct way. Maybe you're doing some kind of mistakes related to this specific pattern, which you're not aware of. So go back or ask the person who has shown you this technique, and ask them if you be sure you understood this correctly, you're applying this correctly. Because sometimes you think at the first moment, oh, now I understand this, I'm doing this correctly. And then like 5 minutes later or 5 days later, when you compare what the person or the book or whatever has said or written or whatever, and with what you're doing, you actually observe you're doing quite something different. And there is of course then is of course this explanation why this technique is not working for you in the best possible way. And of course, as you are a beginner in this kind of field and activity, it's quite common in the beginning to have some difficulties, especially if you have some kind of different issues related to your physical body, related to your mental situation or whatever. And you must give it time. You must be also patient, like the words patient means, is to like be willing to give it time to really go deep in your body, in your whole being, and then start working for you. So observe minor progress which is happening, and if even minor progress is happening, of course look to speed it up, your progress. But even if minor improvement is happening during time, then stick with it, stay with it, because actually one of the biggest mistake I observe of people working with breathwork is not to stay with your breathing practice. You do it like for 1 week, or you do it for 1 month, or you do it for 3 months, and even if you have great progress, even if you have great results, you think, oh, now I'm feeling so much better, I can like stop doing my breath work at all, in general. And then you relapse, and then you get worse, because it's like everything. You must go to the gym, you must eat good food, you must sleep well, and so on and so on. You must take care of yourself, and breath work is one of the ways of taking care of yourself. So if you stop taking care of yourself, then then breathwork will not work for you like for infinite period of time. It will work for you as much as you do it.
Yeah. So consistency is a key, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It's
But
one of the main things I say to everyone who works with me.
yeah, indeed, actually, mental health requires a lot of, and also physical one, consistency and building healthy habits. But so many people nowadays, struggle to make time during their hectic schedule, especially again saying high demand jobs. So, do you have any kind of advice, trick, somewhat something that you can share to our listeners how they can make time?
I can give you one trick, and this is called, I said it just right there, is consistency. Meaning, even if you do very little breath work, meaning just a few minutes a day, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes a day, which everyone has. Let's be frank there. Everyone has 2 minutes in like on the waiting line somewhere or whatever. So if you do this really every day, day after day, then you get the benefits. And you can do it even when you lie in bed before getting asleep. You can do it. There, like I mentioned, there's some breathing patterns you can do standing or even walking. Just observing your breath. Of course, you can work with your breath. Of course, during exercise, like swimming is a good example, but you don't need water to be very aware and very conscious about your breathing during exercise. So breathing can be done in a lot of different situations, but of course we need to find some time, like 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Just look at the schedule and really be proactive about this. Like, look at what you do daily, what do you do every day. When do you get up? How do you prepare your breakfast? What do you do in the morning? What do you do in the afternoon? What do you do at different periods of time? And you will see there these small gaps of time every day, which you can fill with 2 to 5 to 10 minutes, which can give a huge difference in your life. So give it a little bit of priority, and it will repay thousandfold.
No, I'm more than sure that it will. And actually, because some of our listeners are also like managers, HR professionals, etc., how they can encourage breathwork, breathing practices, and stress reduction techniques within the teams they are leading and within the companies.
A great way to start a team meeting is start by breathing practice, like 2 minutes. You don't need to go like big on this, like 10 minutes or something, or even longer. You don't need to do this. Like 2 minutes is quite enough. So just start the breathing practice by I invite you to do this. You don't have to do this. Do not force this on people, because it may have not the best result. Just invite them. I'll be here. I'll be doing this practice. I invite you to do this, to try this out, to see how it works and so on. And maybe someone will not do it, but this is okay. Some people need more time. Some people need to be convinced, and so on. Some people are followers. They need to see other people doing it and so on. So just invite people in the beginning of the meeting to do this, and you will see when people do breathe the same pattern, like for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, something like this, their nervous systems will align, and then we'll have so much more constructive conversations and work in your team. Then these 2 or 3 minutes will repay several times later in higher productivity in the team, and also have a better mood in the team. It's not only about productivity, it's also having more smiles, more relaxed kind of works, and going home not really exhausted and tired, and like experience like you've given your 100% and you're not able to move and think after you work, but still having some energy after works, after you finish work. So yeah, just give this idea to start team meetings with breathing practice.
That's actually a great idea that I've never thought of. Like, but for sure, I will implement on my next meeting. And while on the topic, actually, can I ask you to practically show some small breathing exercise that we can
Yeah,
incorporate basically at work, at home, anytime? Something simple, perhaps.
yeah. I give one example. It's one of the most popular breathing practices out there, which is called the box breathing. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you didn't. But it's very effective, and even for less experienced people, yeah, maybe you get the benefits straight away. And they use it in the special forces. They used it previously a long time ago. They started using it in the special forces in the United States, but as it got popular, it's used all over the world, and it's good also for concentration. It's good like for the beginning of a meeting or beginning of the day. There are a lot of situations in which this kind of breath work is very appropriate. So why is it called the box breathing? Because the duration of the four parts of the breath, inhale, breath hold, exhale, and pause on the breath on the exhale, is for the same duration for every step of this. So it creates visually a box. So what we are going to do is breathe by four on the count of four. Um, Hold the breath for the count of four, exhale for the count of four, and pause the breath with an empty lung on the count of four. And just to be more immersed, I will use my drum. I use different kind of instruments in my work, musical instruments. So I use this kind of drum to give you more feel of the tempo. You can actually count in your head when you do it by yourself, or you can use an application. There are a lot of applications for the phone which are like breathing timers. But for this moment, we use this drum, and I'll lead you into that, and then you can try it out. So I invite you just not to hear me. You can do this even if you're driving, or if you're walking. You can try it out also if you're standing in the metro or doing something else. Just be careful. If you feel this is too much, just stop it, and don't close your eyes if you're driving or doing something like this. But in any other situation, if you're sitting on a chair just relaxing, you can just close your eyes, as in most of the breathing practices you do, and then you connect more to yourself and to your body. So let's just find a good position when you can do this short breath work. We do this like for 1.5 minutes or something like this, 2 minutes. Just sit straight with your back straight, with your arms relaxed, and close your eyes for a second or more, and just observe your breath for a short while. See what is going on with the breath. How does it move? How does it go up and down? Is it fast? Is it slow? Is there a longer exhale, or is there a longer inhale? What is going on with the breath? Just connecting with it for the start, for the time being. And I will start leading you with the drum and with counting. And we do all exhale and inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. And in through the nose. 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. And pause. 2, 3, 4. Now you know. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Slowly inhale to the nose and pause and just feel the body. And exhale to the nose and hold and just observe what's going on in your body. And inhale 2, 3, 4 and hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, give it time slowly. And hold, just observe the pause. And inhale 2, 3, 4. Hold, maybe with a light smile. And exhale, just relax by exhaling. And pause, just observe the pause. And inhale 2, 3, 4 and hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, give it time. And pause, observe the relaxed situation. And inhale is the last. And hold, just smile. And exhale, relax slowly. And hold, 2, 3, 4. Then stay with your eyes closed. Just come back to your breath. Just give it space to do whatever it wants to do by itself. And see what is going on with your breath. Is it going deeper? Is it going slower? Is it more relaxed? How do you feel your body? How do you feel emotionally? What's going on in your mind? And then you can slowly start to move, maybe stretch your hands, your arms, maybe you rub your eyes, whatever you feel like doing, and you can continue with your day.
Wow. And I should continue with asking you questions, but that's so
Of
hard
course.
after this. But yeah, that, I mean, I'm wordless. It was a small piece of breathwork, but yet I felt so energized, even even in the context of this conversation. That was phenomenal.
And it's very simple. You can remember it and do it at different situations. You can try it out by standing or by walking. Of course, I invite you to try it out sitting in the beginning. You can do it also lying if you prefer to do that. But speaking of the workplace, most time we are sitting. So do this before presentation. Do this before some hard conversations, and maybe do this maybe after the lunch when you feel that you don't have so much energy and you have a lot of work in the afternoon. So try different things out and see how it works for you.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I actually wanna ask you, what's the one thing you wish our listeners to remember from this podcast?
I wish for everyone to really explore the breath, because like you mentioned, like we mentioned in the beginning of the conversation, there's so much power in the breath. It's literally under our nose, and this accessibility makes it so unappreciated about really the power of the breath, because as we explore it, as we put it in use, you will see how much it is, what kind of great capability you have within yourself. So the idea is like really try it, really do it for some time, try different things, just be like give it like 14 days or at least 10 days doing it, and you see huge change which is going on in you, and this will create a great curiosity about what else is there. Because if I can influence my state with 2 or 3 minutes of breath work, what can I do with 10 minutes of breath work? What can I do with 20, with 30, with 40 minutes of breath work, which are even more intensive and even more deep than that? I can do a lot of deep, profound work. I can go in an altered state. I can go really in childhood trauma. I can really do a lot of things which are very important for me, which are again related to our everyday situations, to our work life, to our stress levels, and so on, because we are human beings and everything is interconnected. So stay curious and explore the breath. This is my main message.
No, that was a very strong message. I feel that it's another way towards mindfulness and towards being authentic and true to yourself, also taking care of the self that you're having. And Kirill, when people need support, where they can find you and learn more about your work.
Yeah, my work is mainly in the Bulgarian language, as I'm located in Bulgaria. But of course, I work also with international people, individuals or companies or whatever. So if you're interested in my experience, which I collected over the last 6 years in the very different kind of modalities and approaches and use cases of breathwork, you might find me, for example, on Instagram by writing artofbreathing.bg, and you can see some of the examples of my work there. And of course, you can connect with me, for example, via email on artofbreathing.bg@gmail.com. So write me a message if you are curious about using breathwork in your situations, whatever it might be. And yeah, I'll be glad to connect you to the power of your own breath.
Oh, thank you, Kirill. That was so wonderful conversation, and I personally learned a lot. Thank you for sharing the insights on exploring the connection between stress management and breathing, and in general, everything you shared about breath work. To our listeners, please remember to check out Art of Breathing profile at artofbreathing.bg at Instagram if you want to find more information about Kirill's work and also his contact info. Head over to www.stressout-project.eu to learn more about our initiative and make sure to download StressOut mobile app to learn how to manage work-related stress and burnout effectively. Also, follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook at StressOut-project. Thank you so much for tuning in.